Man, Black Noir, man, it's truly like that, man. This is truly a character, man, that I feel true empathy for. Just like all this stuff, man, his silence, his demeanor, they're not quirks. This guy is masking some multiple layers of trauma, repression, identity issues, mutilation, physical body damage. Part of his brain is missing. And he's not like, he doesn't speak, his absence of voices more than any dialogue. In psychological terms, his silence is both a shield and its own prison. And as a shield, it makes him unreadable, almost alien to everyone around here, which is useful for a character designed to instill both fear and mystery, which is what he does. And that's all he is. And it's also a prison because he's lost his humanity. Like we see in the flashbacks that Noir had aspirations like everyone else. In the 7, he wanted to, this is really this is all on Soldier Boy, right? It's like Soldier Boy just beat this dude down because Soldier Boy wanted to suck up all the Jews, and Noir was like, look, I could be out there in front, I want to show my face. And that was like the downward, he thought, look at this guy, he's probably like, look, Eddie Murphy's trying to be in the movie, I could try and be in the movie, right? I could be funny. And I'm sure being a suit probably gave him all kind of advantages, but that wasn't to be. So he was on that path, and he was fighting for that path. And Soldier Boy, man, like ended all that, right? Like the damage that he did, so that whole life completely died, right? And I'm sure he never mentally healed from being disfigured outside of his other traumas along with that. Now, he really went into superhero branding, and this was about erasing who he was. He's forced to play this part that they assigned him. He's never allowed outside of it, and I don't know, they never really explained why he couldn't grow, right? Other than the Soldier Boy stuff. So this level of disassociation that he has, like, it really serves well to making him an obedient killer, because he suppressed any individual that he has. This mask really is a barrier to keep all these fractured parts together. And you see, he's inside of his own head. His trauma goes all the way back to his childhood. That's timely that these images come up, because that's exactly what I was talking about, and how he sees himself, this very childlike person who's capable of this like insane violence. A violence that he's very precise, very efficient, and most often very excessive. So he loves the violence, and this is what makes him even deadlier. He has this loyalty to Vought, that he's been conditioned for this obedience. He had this loyalty to Homelander. And this substitution of rage he can't verbalize, so he uses his physical abilities to take it out. And these have become his mechanisms for survival. Like I can't really put him in the victim class because he's wreaked so much damage, but he is like an extreme weaponized system, right? He is that, and he's a silent enforcer who carries out the will of others, but he's hollowed out himself. He is literally the shadow term that Carl Jung talked about, not just the 7, but a superhero culture himself. He represents what happens when a hero is truly stripped of all his humanity. Everything that would have turned into like a thriving person has been taken away from him. His allergies, his nut allergy, which is a weakness, his other allergies. Otherwise he's an unstoppable killer, but has the most fragile, childlike vulnerability inside the noodle. And he reminds that under the mask, he was a person. I don't know if he's still a person. I don't know if we can call him that. And I don't know that there's any redemption for this guy. There's a few people on the show I'd say that about, and he's definitely one where I don't know if there's a level of coming back. I think for him, it would be peace and death. So we saw Homelander obviously rip the guy apart, like, last season or whatever it was. And I think that's the only piece that he could ever get. And he's definitely a cautionary tale, like silence and what it means. It's erasure of a person in this process. So, again, a character sometimes I feel sympathy for, but most of the time when we saw him, it was just fear, knowing what he was going to get down with. So that's my piece on Black Noir. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know if there's other characters you want to get a deeper dive into.